where or when did you start with Ignition, and why did you start with Ignition? I think the group discussion is a good place to start the journey there. So maybe I'll start with you, Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Don. For us, we've always used what our customers request us to use. And there's a time in our history where we did selection, we did consulting where we helped customers select mainly MES type products. But as of late, we have very rarely customers come to us and say, we'd really like you to build this solution and this particular product. And sometimes it's a legacy product, like maybe a Wonderware product, and other times, they're starting their journey with Ignition. So to use a year for us, it was probably the 2016, 2017 timeframe when we started in earnest. I came to my first ICC conference about that time. And again, from an integration perspective, because we are the boots on the ground and we are that last mile, we like to use proven technology. So we weren't around for the early days or the bleeding edge of Ignition, but we were happy to join, kind of catch that wave as you guys were really starting to grow in the mid 20 teens. And so that's when our journey started. And we started actually in kind of part of a team here. And now we've grown to having a full Ignition team of about 35 people that only focus on Ignition. So that's our journey.
Totally appreciate that, Scott. Yes, you missed some of the bleeding edge days, but probably to your benefit. Your timing was good, Scott. Your timing was good.
Yep.
Thanks so much. Evelyn, a little bit about you.
Yeah, Asa and I started using Ignition in 2013. Back then, we worked with 3 of the most well-known SCADA brands around the world. So we thought we didn't need another SCADA tool. But our current account executive, Maria Chinapi, didn't give up until she could show us a demo of Ignition. And that was it. The demo changed it all. We realized Ignition offered solutions where other platforms were limited. So all our engineers took the inductive university. We took the training there at Folsom. We became the first CTC in Spanish, and we have been finalists of ICC 6 times already. I hope we can win one of these times.
I think you're going to, Evelyn. I think you're going to.
And since then, Ignition became our primary platform to offer solutions. In fact, currently, we don't have any single project that is not being developed using Ignition. So that was our journey.
That's great. And you've been training people from around South America, I think, have come to the CTC. Yes. Yeah, and so appreciated. And Maria Chinapi could not speak higher of you and the team there. So we're very appreciative. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Remus.
Thanks, Don. Feel like I've told this story a million times, so what's one more? Doesn't hurt, but
one more.
Yeah. My journey with Ignition is a little different. So I was an end user at the time. I was working for a battery manufacturer based here in the Detroit area, and I was a controls engineer. And as we went bankrupt and were bought by a Chinese entity, I was the one that was volunteered to deploy a custom MES system at our sister site in China. So not knowing much about MES and software development, as just being a controls engineer, my job was to find a way to make that easy for me over the next couple of years. So I literally just Googled off-the-shelf MES. Ignition popped up. I downloaded a demo, started working with it, and within a matter of an hour, I was already connected to a bunch of machines in my plant, building some dashboards, and it was pretty incredible. So I got a call shortly after that from Vanessa Garcia, who's still my sales rep today, and we walked through some pricing models and everything that I was looking for, and she had mentioned that hey, there's actually a training coming up in a couple of weeks in Folsom. You should come. And so I did. So I booked a trip to Folsom. I stayed for core training. The week after core training was ICC, so I stayed for ICC. 5 days after that was the Ignition MES modules training. This was before they were spun off to Septisoft. So I stayed for that. So I was there for 18 days in Folsom, pretty much drank from the fire hose of Ignition. And then I spent the next 2 years living in the Shanghai area, deploying an Ignition-based MES system at our sites there. And it was an incredibly career-altering moment for me, where I really started to understand the power of a platform like Ignition and why I still use it today.
Oh, I know I've heard that story a few times, Remus, but I do appreciate you. You are the poster child of someone who drank from the fire hose. I will say that for sure.
Yep.
Thanks so much. All right, Chris Taylor, over to you. How did you get started with Ignition and why?
So for me, I was the technical director of another company, and we had a few pain points with some HMIs and SCADAs. We needed to view them remotely, and it was extremely difficult. And I started looking. I did find Factory PMI a few months before, but because it was called Factory, I thought it had something to do with another vendor. And the only reason they're called Factory is because they need a 2-week shutdown every year. So I dismissed it at first, but then I downloaded it. You know, if anyone's installed other SCADA systems, they know that you can set aside half a day to install it. And Ignition installed in 3 minutes. Within an hour, I was connected to PLCs, and that was just like a breakthrough moment for me. And it did everything I needed it to do. It's always done everything I've ever needed it to do, or I can make it do what I need it to do, even if it means writing our own modules. It's very scalable. At the time, as I said, I was employed by someone else. I went to the management and said, you need to focus on this product. We need to change how we operate. This needs to be our go-to platform. They didn't agree. So eventually I left and I started BIJC, and I haven't really looked back since.
What year was that? When did you start BIJC?
So I started BIJC 2013. So we're 12 years old now.
Cool. All right, thank you. That's
7.6, I think, was the first version I used.
Oh, okay. So I just got to ask one side question. I'm digressing here, but I know you were honored at ICC for a little something you've done in the community or something. Can you just share a little bit about that, if you could?
Okay, so I'm the trustee of a charity in the UK called Serve Kent, which is a regional charity that operates out of hours blood distribution, blood courier services between hospitals and blood banks and things like that. And we didn't have any kind of platform for all of the members. We have about 200 members who volunteer their time and fuel to go out and deliver these things. Most of it's on motorbikes. I do like a motorbike. And so BIJC, my company, when Perspective came out, so give some context, when Perspective came out, we really needed a reason to learn it, you know, a project to learn it on. We're great believers of learning by doing. And so we picked this project. So it was a project to build a rota system and, you know, everything that you need to manage a charity with lots of individuals who need to log on and see what's happening, commit themselves to volunteering on certain days, all of that sort of thing, fleet management, a great many things. And that's what we use Ignition for. So we started that in 2019 and it's been running 6 years now, and we've had virtually zero downtime. As of about 18 months ago, Ignition started their, what do you call it, Don? The community
impact program, where we will help folks do things out in the community.
Yeah, we were one of the first recipients of that, and now we're very thankful that we don't have to find any money for any of our upgrades to our modules, and that's made a real big difference to us.